Yes, I mean, sometimes from themselves, and maybe all of us has got this, we believe that my rights are more important than others.
Yes.
So that's why we need an even playing field on which justice prevails. We can look at ourselves, but very often, you know, religion is part of the problem. And it's when religion and politics get muddled up, where religion shapes politics and then depersonalizes other people, de-citizens them, if there is such a word as that. Then we're in trouble.
You seem to be speaking against your place in the House of Lords.
No, it's a different argument, Tim. You'd have to have a debate.
You don't want to give
that.
up your seat in the House of Lords.
But the importance is that we don't allow religion to dominate to such a degree that it's my interpretation of religion that should prevail, and we create laws only for ourselves, and that really is a very dangerous thing.
Minorities, disproportionate rights, I think that was your question. Do you have disproportionate rights?
Again, that's something I'm against again. I don't want to become important person in the government because of a quota of my population. No. If I'm a valid person able to help my country, I've done all my life, by the way, and I still do it. And I think I always think as a Tunisian and my country, and I do help my country. I never think about being Jewish or not Jewish.
Except the other day. Yeah. Fadi Daou.
To answer the question, I think that all minorities in all the world are, it's a social fact and societal fact, are more active sometimes than majorities because they have to prove themselves. Sometimes they are more active economically or culturally or so on. But it does not apply to Lebanon. In Lebanon, there is no majority and no minority. In fact, everyone is minority in Lebanon, and the situation is totally different. But about the kind of disproportionate privileges or part of the power, the political power, I don't think this is the main issue. And I'm not totally with or against this situation. I think what is more important in Lebanon is to learn how to live together again after a situation of a big conflict and a civil war in Lebanon. This is the situation. It's how we can build a living together among different minorities or different communities.
Okay, all right. I think we covered that, but you wanted to make just one quick point?
Yes. It's very brief. Sometimes we protect people to ensure neutrality. So protecting not necessarily from a danger, but to ensure neutrality. What is special about the government is they have taken the responsibility. They have adopted the responsibility by running for elections, by putting their names forward. So they have to ensure that people have their quotas or their rights delivered to them.
Okay, I'm going to take a question from the gentleman in the middle there.
Yes, my name is Bilal, I'm from South Africa. My question is to Imam Ahmed. You just a few moments ago, you said that it was when the dictatorships took power away from the center of learning or religious Al-Azhar, which is when minorities were persecuted. But a minority which is being persecuted across the Muslim world is the Shia community, which is being largely prosecuted or by Sunni Muslims. So just some comment on that.
Yes, well, that's a very interesting point because me and Lord Carey were talking about this morning. I believe that religious minorities at the moment don't imply Jews, Christians, Baha'is only, or other people other than non-Muslims, but it includes Shias in a Sunni minority, in a Sunni majority country, Sunnis in Iran, and it includes also people like Sufis in Saudi Arabia who are not allowed to build their own schools and to come up with their own views only because of a Wahhabi or some one interpretation. What I said is the governments have politicized religious institutions in order to separate them from the masses, and then the masses lost interest in them and lost trust in them, and that is when they started to turn to some other authorities to get their religious food. And when they got the religious food from non-qualified authorities, because the qualified authorities have been politicized and they have been separate from the reality, the danger started to appear to the surface.
Okay, lady in blue, we're going to take a question from you. Second row. Could you stand up, please?
Hi, my name is Salma Musa. I'm Egyptian. My question is for the whole panel. I just want to ask a question specifically about Syria, which is a country where protection of religious minorities was so extensive that it was actually exploited to have a minority authoritarian regime oppressing the majority. So my question is, what steps do you think should be taken to protect religious minorities in countries like Syria, or what should have been taken in countries like Iraq after Saddam Hussein was toppled, where in a post-revolutionary context they're likely to be seen as regime collaborators and targeted accordingly?
Lord Carey, do you want to start there?
Well, I think the first thing we must do, those of us who believe in the importance of prayer, is to pray for Syria. I'm against an invasion, a foreign invasion. We've seen how these things go badly wrong. I think we've got to hope that the Kofi Annan's initiative will bring some fruit from that examination.
Not looking good,
I
is
haven't
it?
got a great deal of confidence in that, Tim, but so we're left in a no man's land at the moment. We don't know where it's going to go. So if invasion is out,
Ahmed, Saad, let me move to you.
Well, I believe democracy should secure something like that. Democracy and honesty, because these governments, as the Syrian regime,